It is 6:30. I'll call this meeting of the St. Mary City Council recorded. Roll call, please.
Buck,
Here.
Lund,
Here.
Chrisman,
Here.
Childry,
Here.
Fitzgerald,
Here.
Mullenhead, Aquara,
Here.
All rise. Please join Pastor Dennis in a brief prayer.
Father, it is with a great privilege that we gather this evening, Lord, just to come and govern the affairs of this community. Lord, I thank you for each representative here, of each ward and the families that they represent. I just pray, Father, that in all things considered this evening, Lord, that we would acknowledge you in all of our ways. Lord, that there would be a fear of the Lord that would be upon us, and that we would just make decisions with a clear conscience before you and before men. I pray, Father, that just during the season of Thanksgiving, Lord, that we would each one consider the blessings that you've bestowed upon us, the blessings of life, the hope of eternal life that we have in your Son, Jesus. I pray, Father, that, again, Lord, that just your hand would be over the things that take place this evening, and that all would be done to bring you glory. That's in Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You all received a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any questions or comments from council? If not, may I have a motion to accept, please? Mr. Buck, Mr. Lunds, all those who accept, please. What happened, guys?
Well, your date's not here, so.
I said matter.
All right, may I see a show of hands? There we go, okay. Is there a retry?
That's it.
Okay. May I see a show of hands of those who accept the minutes? All yeses, thank you. Under petitions, communications, I've been informed Mr. Noble's here to inform us about the Hotel Fort Barbie. Mr. Noble?
Mr. President, members of council, I'm just happy to inform you that we closed on the Fort Barbie transaction a week ago last Thursday, so that property has transferred ownership and the city is completely out of involvement there. Basically, the deal went down pretty much as I had outlined to council the last time I appeared here. And I'll just reiterate a few things. I think the charge that we had was that the city did not want to own the property. And, but we wanted to hopefully maintain it as a residential structure and preserve as much as possible as we had invested in it. And essentially, this was accomplished. There was a lot of moving parts, and this took some time to put it all together. Just to mention a few, it would be the Fred Schwab estate. Mr. Schwab passed away a year ago, somewhat precipitated this action. The Huntington Bank, which had a mortgage, Roto-Rooter, which had a mechanics lien, and they filed a foreclosure suit. Of course, the Trip County Treasurer, real estate taxes, the Ohio Housing Finance Authority, which has covenants on the building, this council, CIC, city administration, and the tenants union. We all had to come together to make this transaction happen. And I'll be happy to take any questions on this.
One question, do we still have the master lease on the storefront?
No.
Okay. We're done.
As part of the transaction, the city was reimbursed for the balance of the mortgage. If you may remember, some of you were involved. The city loaned the CIC $150,000 to make improvements on the storefronts. That had been paid down over the course of approximately 10-some years, and the balance of that loan was paid off as part of the closing. But in order to facilitate, the new owner has control now of the storefronts. So we were made whole on that, and also the CIC had spent about $19,000 to do some damage control, somewhat like Roto-Rooter did, but the CIC was reimbursed in whole for that. And so that was the situation there, and we received a significant sum on our revolving loan fund that the state had basically given us a free hand to do whatever we wanted there. So Huntington Bank took a haircut, if you will, and so did Roto-Rooter. Of course, the taxes were paid in full, so everybody had to give and take to make this transaction happen. So the new owner is a gentleman, Eric Rice is his name, is through his his LLC, and he will be taking over. I think he's already started cleaning there. There's been several dumpsters full, and he'll be working on that over the next few months. So,
Are there still tenants?
yes, right now there are, I think, still 7. This was, a lot of things happened to make this happen. There were various times the water was shut off, the gas was shut off. We had to scramble to make that happen. We did some lock repairs, that was reimbursed. And yeah, there was quite a few things, seemed like every day some new issue arose to put a roadblock, but we managed to move forward through all those. And was extremely happy the day that it did close. So, and hopeful that the building will be, improved. Of course, that's up to Mr. Rice and his future there. It has a lot of possibility. It is one of 2 structures in the city of St. Mary's that is on the National Historic Register. So there's possibility of some historic tax credits there. And I think he's indicated he wants to apply for a facade loan that the city has maintained over the years to do that. So, a lot of work to be done there. The elevator, the apartments, and that type of thing. The covenants, the Ohio Housing Finance Authority did release the covenants on all except the occupied units. So that gives Mr. Rice a freer hand in some of the unoccupied units to do with as he wants to there. But there's still, those expire in, I think, 3 years. So, but they were very cooperative. The estate, the attorney for Mrs. Schwab was very cooperative in doing this. Essentially, we bought, the CIC exercised this option the day before the closing. The CIC owned it for 1 day for a sum of $100. And then we turned around and sold it for $350,000, which then was allocated among the different parties. But the attorney, Mr. Schwab actually owned several of these projects throughout the estate. This wasn't the only project. He owned, I think there's another one in Ada and several others throughout the state. So, be happy to answer any questions.
Any other questions from council? Thank you for the good news, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Greg. Thanks. Okay, under petitions communications, this is the opportunity for people from the audience to address council. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to address council at this time? Okay. Moving on, reports of city officials. We have the auditor's report. Is this the reason?
I have no corrections or deletions.
Any questions or comments from council? Next, we have the treasurer's report.
Jackie's not here tonight, and she has no corrections or deletions.
Any questions or comments from council? Next, we have the Director of Public Service and Safety report. Mr. Fontaine.
Mr. Harris, one thing I'd like to add is just a reminder that we will be closed Thursday and Friday for the holiday. Other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. Moving on, we have reports of committees of city council. We have the finance committee. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yeah, we met on November 17th. Basically, the finance committee got a chance to get its first look at the budget for 2026 and had a chance to review all the documents in the budget, and we're tasked with the committee to go back and review and bring back any questions for the next review of the budget. And I think we have the set date for the next meeting, so, next Monday. So, other than that, the report stands on its own.
Any questions or comments from council? I would encourage other members from council who are not at the finance committee, you may want to come in and sit in and see how this process works out. And it does get involved. So, under the readings, ordinance, and resolutions, under third readings, we have ordinance number 2025-23, an emergency ordinance establishing fees to be charged in the zoning and subdivision regulations of the city of St. Mary's. Any questions, comments from council? If not, this is for its third reading. May I have a motion to pass, please? Mr. Christman, Mr. Aquero, council vote to pass, please. See if this works this time. Okay, may I see a show of hands, those who motion? Okay, all yeses, thank you. I wonder if the receiver's dead.
Say the name.
Excuse me?
I wonder if the receiver's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a receiver is, so maybe it's dead.
You
Yeah.
know, if one didn't click on, I would say, okay, they're clicking their transmitter, but none of them are clicking.
I say it's
So-
showing up there, but
I would defer to Mr. Burkholder. He's the tech guy.
We'll have to play with it tomorrow.
There's your answer.
I say,
We can get through it, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. We've gone through worse, so.
Next, under ordinance 2025-25, to approve execution of an efficiency smart schedule with American Municipal Power, Inc. and declare an emergency. Any questions or comments from council? If not, may I have a motion to pass? Mr. Fitzgerald, Ms. Childry, council vote to pass, please. All yeses, thank you. Next, we have resolution 2025-15 in the matter of documenting the position of the city of St. Mary's regarding naming of addressing authority within the jurisdiction of the city of St. Mary's. This is the third reading. Any questions or comments from council? If not, may I have a motion to pass, please? Mr. Buck, Mr. Lunds, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses, thank you. We have no second readings. Under new legislation, we have an ordinance number 2025-26. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Christman, Mr. Aquero, all raise your hand if you're in favor. All yeses. Ordinance number 2025-26, an emergency ordinance setting forth the wages and benefits for the fire chief and other fire department employees not represented by the collective bargaining agreement. Ms. Bax, I think this is your...
I will,
Okay.
if I could, Mr. Harrison, just a few things. The next 5 pieces of legislation deal with employee wages and benefits. All 5 of these can be read 3 times, so we're comfortable with that time frame.
Okay.
I am going to talk about the first 3, Ms. Bax will talk about the last 2. Just as a kind of a little bit background information, especially for our new council members, we currently have 102 full-time employees. All of our employees, including me, are either covered by a union contract, a collective bargaining agreement, or they're covered by legislation. And all of that is approved first through council. So the vast majority of our workforce is covered by 5 unions. We have 3 unions in the police department: the dispatchers, which is our smallest union, the patrolmen, the police sergeants, then we have our firefighters union, and then we have our utility workers union, which is the largest. So the vast majority of our workforce is covered by those 5 agreements, those union agreements. The rest of us are either, if the police chief has an ordinance, the fire chief has an ordinance, then there's one for the non-bargaining, and I'll talk more about those as we get to it. This particular one is for the fire chief. It also would apply to auxiliary firefighters if we had some, but we do not. So it simply is going to apply to him. The only change in the fire chief's legislation is the wages, and he will receive an increase of 3.5%.
Any questions or comments from council? If not, then I guess this will be back for a
Yes,
second
sir.
reading.
Yeah, we can read them all 3 times.
Okay. Next, we have ordinance 2025-27. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Lunds. All in favor, raise your hand, please. All yeses. Ordinance 2025-27. An emergency ordinance providing for wages and benefits for the City of St. Mary's supervisory personnel and non-represented employees.
Okay, Mr. Harris, this resolution involves our department heads, except for police and fire, superintendents, supervisors, and non-represented. The non-represented employee would be someone like Deb or Amy Gadilio. They're not supervisors, they're administrative staff, but they're not represented by a union. There's 21 of those employees, and I'm not included in that group. So the supervisor like Ms. Bags, Mr. Burkholder, it includes them. So again, the wage will be 3.5%, 3.5%. There were some clerical positions that somehow had gotten behind a little further than I thought they had, so they had to receive additional increases to be competitive, to bring them up. Also, we eliminated 2 positions, titles. The first one is the superintendent of solid waste operations. We now have a supervisor of solid waste operations. I felt best in talking with Doug Betts when he left, and the mayor and personnel director, that the solid waste department was not a standalone department. So it's been folded into general services. So general services is John Manker. He has that department, parks, and solid waste. So we took it from a superintendent position to a supervisory position, and that's reflected here. Also eliminated was the technical operations coordinator. We no longer have a need for it. We'll be back in the next meeting or 2 with a different position. We're still working on that, but we know it's not going to be this.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council? If not, this will be back for its second reading at the next meeting. Next, we have ordinance number 2025-28. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Buck, Mr. Crispin, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Ordinance number 2025-28, an emergency ordinance setting forth the wages and benefits for the chief of police and other police department employees not represented by a collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Foxhorn.
Mr. Harris, this would include our police chief. It also includes our custodian of record, code enforcement officer. Again, one of the reasons that the fire chief and the police chief have separate ordinances is because we tend to extend to them the same type of benefits that have been negotiated by their people. So for instance, there's wine memberships that they get that the non-bargaining don't. So that's why they have separate documents, because we try to tailor fit it to each department. So again, the police chief will receive a 3.5% raise. Again, we found out that the clerical positions there had gotten a little further behind than I had thought they had, and so we're simply bringing them up to competitive wages. But those are the only changes.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Next, we have ordinance 2025-29. May I have a motion to read, please? Ms. Childry. Mr. Lunds. All in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Ordinance 2025-29, emergency ordinance adjusting the salary of the Director of Public Service and Safety.
Mayor Hurlbert spoke to me about the salary of the director, and he is recommending a 3% increase. That would take his salary from $111,413 to $114,755 annually. And just to note too, that this is less than our neighboring communities.
Okay. And we need this for 3 readings?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, this will be on for a second reading. Next, we have ordinance number 2025-30. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Crispin, Mr. Buck, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Thank you. Ordinance number 2025-30, an emergency ordinance setting forth the rates of pay and providing for certain fringe benefits for the City of St. Mary's dispatchers represented by the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association.
This sets forth the tentative agreement that council agreed to at the last meeting.
Any questions or comments from council? And you're good with 3 readings, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a little different than what I'm used to, so.
Well, we know that you get beat up sometimes, so we're trying to plan ahead as best we can, so.
I do appreciate that. Okay, this will be back for a second reading. Next, we have Resolution 2025-16. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Aquaro, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Resolution 2025-16, an emergency resolution authorizing the disposition of city property through internet bidding. Mr. Foxall.
Mr. Harris, this is annual legislation. This is the process in which we get rid of unwanted items, vehicles, and equipment through internet bidding, through Gov Deals. We started this relationship with Gov Deals in 2013, so this is our 14th year. To date, we have sold 919 items for over $690,000. This piece of legislation will be for year 2026.
Okay. This has been working out rather good for us.
It is, yes. It's
Okay, any questions or comments from council? If not, this will be back for the second reading at the next meeting. Next, we have Resolution 2025-17. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Crispin, Mr. Buck, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Resolution 2025-17, an emergency resolution authorizing appropriation and transfer of funds to the Refuge Revenue Fund.
So I will start off, Mr. Harrison, and then Mr. Reason will pick up if I've forgotten something. First, I'll apologize. I know that the legislation reads a little confusing with the numbers, but just to explain it, our solid waste operations are funded through 616. This is the numbers we use. 616, that fund primarily funds our solid waste operations. Below that is a fund number 617. That fund number is for solid waste improvements. Well, obviously what we've done over the last couple of years is improve how we do our collection system. So right now, the 616, the primary fund, has a negative balance of a few $100,000 that we need to close. And this is one of the ways we do this. My guess is, Mr. Reason and I have talked, we'll probably have to move money from the general fund to cover the shortfall in that account at the end of the year. So right now, in 617, there is $60,083.83. $20,000 of that has already been appropriated by council. What we need to do is appropriate the balance of $40,083.83, and then once that's done, transfer the entire amount to 617 to help offset that negative balance. I do apologize, I know that's a little confusing, but the money's right there. We just simply didn't pay attention to it when we were doing some of the upgrades, so that $60,000 has been sitting there all year. There's been no revenue, there's been no expenses, it's just sitting there for us to use. And so that's what we would like to do. This piece of legislation, however, we would request be passed under suspension of the rules. I know Mr. Reason is watching this very closely to see how far we can get this down, so we know exactly what we need to transfer at the end of the year.
Okay.
County,
Okay. For the new members of council, being this time of the year, you're going to see sometimes where we're going to be moving money like you're seeing right now, because the law says we have to have the books balanced. So, any questions or comments from council? If not, we have a request to suspend the rules. What is council's wishes?
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules on resolution 2025-7.
Motion to suspend by Mr. Lund, second by Mr. Crispin. All in favor, raise your hand. That being the case, may I have a motion to pass then? Mr. Coyle, Mr. Fitzgerald, all in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Yes, all yeses. Next, under scheduling miscellaneous business and closing, we have a request for finance committee for next Monday at 5:15 for review of the 2026 budget. You good with that time?
good with that.
Good with that time? And any other member who's not on the finance committee, you are welcome to attend. In fact, I would encourage you to attend if you can. I know you've got day jobs. Next on my list is, I need a motion to excuse Mr. Ulenake. May I have a motion to excuse Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Carl? All in favor? All yeses? Thank you. And then we have a request for executive session to discuss collective bargaining for fire. Will there be any action after?
Yes, sir, there will be. The fire union, the EMS, has voted to ratify the tentative agreement We will present the executive summary, Ms. Maxwell, in executive session. Once executive session is over, we return to regular session. We will need a vote to accept it or reject it.
But before we go to executive session, I have one thing I'd like to address.
Okay,
So while we're talking about committees,
yeah,
I can report that I can sort of fill everybody in about committees.
okay,
So as we know, over the past few weeks, I've reached out to several other law directors across the state of Ohio. I've reached out to the Attorney General's office. My research, first of all, says that it's not clear one way or another what the correct way that committees should be running, whether there's 4 people on the committee or a committee of the whole. Although I can say that several communities and municipalities across the state have committees of the whole as part of the way that they run things. That being said, I don't want us to be the test case, and I don't want us to set precedent for any reason.
okay.
I think that, so my recommendation is that we convert our Streets and Sidewalks Committee from the 4 wards to the 3 at-large members. That, I think, is an easy way to take care of that particular issue, because we have the 3 at-large members being represented the entire community as well. I think that the committee as a whole that we've traditionally done, if we want to have a committee of the whole, I think we need to have a special council meeting where we only discuss the item on the agenda. It's very similar to a committee at whole. The biggest person that it affects, unfortunately, is Deb, because Deb will need to be here as a clerk for a special council meeting. But I think that's a best practice way of having a meeting of everybody. So a special council meeting instead of a committee of whole would make more sense.
In my time on council, we had 1 committee of the whole, and I had asked you, can we do something like that? And that's when you came to me and said, we can have a committee of the
Right.
whole. That is the only time I've seen that happen.
Right. It doesn't happen very often. I can see it, though, as we become more active on committees, it just becoming more of a thing.
Okay.
Because people want to come to, we have a refuse committee where we're going to discuss rates. I know that everybody on council is concerned about that and hearing about that, and so they want to show up and talk about that. That's another part of that, is that our committee meetings need to just be the 3 members on the committee discussing and debating the issues. If there's and I think there's plenty of good reasons to have all of council come to a committee meeting to discuss an issue, but I think it should be run as a special council meeting if that happens.
Committee of one of those.
Which is, it's a committee of the whole, it's not a committee of the whole anymore, it's a special council meeting of the city council.
Okay. Can I ask you to put that in writing so we can,
Sure.
and do we need to do any legislation to make that happen?
I haven't been able to find anything in our rules that specify that, so I think that we as a council can just amend the way that we're doing things, and that should be enough. If you'd like, I could prepare new rules, which would change, a section of city code that addresses committees and things like that to address that issue, but I don't know if that's necessary if we're comfortable with just doing it a little bit differently than we have been.
I'm just concerned about some people questioning us in the future on that. We're gonna follow what you recommend.
Yeah.
At least I'm going to follow what you
Yeah,
recommend.
I'm just gonna do a recommendation. I want to keep us out of court, but it's up to the council to make that decision at the end of the day. At the committee meetings, I think other members may attend, but we got to be very careful about other members that aren't on the committee discussing or debating issues while they're here at the committee meetings. If that needs to happen, then that needs to be done as a special council meeting.
So whether they're sitting up here or sitting in the audience for a committee meeting, does that preclude a council member from asking questions in regards to what's going on with the committee meeting as a whole?
Yes, regardless of where they're sitting in the room, when there's more than 3 members that are going to discuss or debate it, that's when I'm concerned that it starts to look more like a council meeting rather than a committee meeting. So regarding where they're sitting, it's up to the committee to chair to decide where people want to sit, whether that be at the dais or in the audience. I can see that it may be confusing to public as to who's on the committee when there's multiple people up there, But I can't find anything legally one way or another, so it's up to council to decide whether that's how they want to
So
handle that.
one thing that's been rolling around in my head is, would it be advantageous to us and to the public if we have, like we have our name tags right now, but we have some additional ones that says committee member? Would, to identify,
Yeah.
we're a committee member, this is the committee member.
That's a council decision to make. I'm just trying to give you my legal perspective.
I'm
But,
sure we're gonna have some more discussion on this.
Sure.
Get this ironed out, but.
yeah. So, yeah, those are the things that I wanted to address and let you know about. Again, I don't think it's black and white, oh, we're definitely doing things wrong, definitely doing things right. I just think that the benefits to making the changes outweigh any, extra. Unfortunately, Deb might have to come to a couple more committee of the wholes, special council meetings if we have those scheduled. So,
Might I recommend to just saying, when we are sitting here, the only reason I say this, when he's talking about the cross conversation that can happen and how that can transfer that into a potential council meeting, it does make it considerably easier when you are sitting here. We end up leaning on each other and reaching. I honestly think for clarity, it does make sense that if it is a committee meeting and we are not committee members, be here if we want to hear what's going on, but be here in the same position as our constituents are in the audience. Just because otherwise we are encouraging, whether we realize it or not.
That's gonna be something we're gonna have to hammer out in discussion. Because we're gonna have to.
That's why I was having that discussion, because I think it's
I respect your comments, but I'm not wholly agreeing with them, so we'll have to work it out. But I'm a traditionalist, I've been doing this, so.
I agree, if it's not broke, don't fix it, but I also think it's broken.
Okay. I guess I'll have to give you Jack at some time and
Sure.
see if we can work out some verbiage and that
Sure.
and go from there.
I wanted to let you know, because we are scheduling these committee meetings here at the end of the year too, so.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, this is budget season, and
Yep.
we're gonna be hammering away at that.
Yep.
Is there anything else come before? Any other questions for the law director? Okay, we have a request for executive session. May I have a motion to go into executive session? Mr. Bub, Mr. Christman, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Mr. Gilliland, Ms. Buchanan. We have returned from executive session. We have a request to accept the agreement.
Tentative agreement.
Tentative agreement. May I have a motion to accept those? Mr. Fitzgerald, Mr. Querl, all in favor, raise your hand. All yeses.
Thank
We're
you.
good. Is there anything else coming before council? Mr. Bub?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Bub, second by Mr. Crispin. All in favor, raise your hand. All yeses. Thank you.
So